What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Curated. I am so excited, so happy you decided to join in today. And yes, we are talking Coachella again. All right, I'm sorry. Weekend one is happening. What the fuck else do we talk about? The cultural relevance of Coachella is just all up in our fucking grills. And so we got to talk about it. For those who don't know, I've been to the festival now for 11 years. This is going to mark my 12th year going to the festival. Um, a lot of factors. One is just a habit at this point. Two, my parents do live in the Coachella Valley. And before you come and you're like, oh, damn, you must be rich. No, no. My parents live in Coachella, the city of Coachella. Um, yeah, we're not middle class or upper class people, I would say. My parents are immigrants who have been working incredibly hard since they moved to the US. And California, Indio, the Coachella Valley was just the place that we landed at when my parents migrated here. So, no, we're not rich. But I will say, one fantastic thing about living in the Coachella Valley and living like 10 minutes away from the festival is that I thankfully don't have to worry about the living situation, which I heard this year's a little bit of a mess. Um, I get to go to Coachella and obviously pay for the fucking $600+ ticket in my flight there, but at least the accommodations of staying somewhere are taken care of, which is nice. I do live in New York now, so getting to the Coachella Valley is a little more complicated and a little longer. I used to live in the Bay Area, and so taking like a 1 hour flight was easy enough. But we're sending it. We're sending it. This is the first time I'm actually going weekend two, which I'll come back and we'll chat about the differences between weekend one and weekend two, because for the last 11 years that I've gone, I've been a weekend one goer. I've always been like, you have to go weekend one is where the vibes are at. But I think this year I was just a little too late to the game, like really late to the point where I just couldn't send it. So we're going weekend two, which I'm excited about. I feel like you weekend one goers have it a little rough this year. Regardless, the point of this podcast episode though is to talk about Coachella in all seriousness and this like these things that I've been seeing online, because I want to prep everybody who's going weekend two and anybody who ever in the future wants to go to the festival. Like, I just want to lay it down to you truthfully how this is going to go, because although I have many other podcast episodes where I talk about the festival and the tips and tricks and all that good shit, I just want to lay it down for you all here what you should expect about going to the festival, because I feel like y'all got it wrong. Y'all got it wrong. So let's get right into it, okay? The first thing here is that the festival is expensive. It is very expensive. I think tickets this year were going for like 600 something. Um, the festival does go on pre-sale around, I think, September or July. Even I think July is pre-sale, and then like September the tickets actually go on sale. Regardless, like, you can get your ticket well in advance, and you can go on a payment plan, which I think is usually like $99 a month or so, until Coachella Fest rolls around, which is usually the preferred method, I would say, for paying for these fucking tickets. And that's just GA. Okay, VIP tickets are like 800, if not 1,000 at this point. And guest pass and artist pass you can't actually get unless that is given to you by a brand or an artist, because technically artist pass back in the day were for artists and guest pass were for the guests of the artists. Nowadays, any motherfucker with a certain amount of likes and following can get any of those, but you can't actually buy those tickets. Now, I will say there are certain bundles, like going to like the safari, which is like 3,000 a person, I believe, or something of that sort, where like included, I don't know if it's happening this year or not, but like included is usually a ticket that'll be like an artist pass, or a guest pass, and that is probably the only way that you could buy it directly from the festival. But all this is to say that these tickets are fucking expensive. They're expensive. It started back in 1999 with tickets that were going for $25. Imagine now paying $600 to go to this fucking festival. And I feel like it's not clocking to you all, as my boy Justin Bieber says, that the reason why these tickets are so expensive is because we keep going. I don't think you all understand how supply and demand works. So let me lay it down for you because I'm an economics major. Not that I used that in any sense or form in what I do nowadays, but I learned supply and demand. And I know that if people continue to go to the festival and there's continuous demand for the festival, that they can charge whatever the fuck they want. Because if you think that festival is too expensive, somebody else is lined up to get that fucking ticket anyway. So they're gonna sell it. So here's the thing though. You're getting GA, all right, for $600 plus. I don't know. I've been to other festivals. I've been to Outside Lands. I've been to I've never been to EDC, but I've been to plenty of, I would say, other festivals to understand, the price ranges and understand what you get for going at like a basic level or a basic tier because I've never had the money to pay for anything besides GA. But maybe because of what influencers show, I think a lot of first time goers expect to go to Coachella and expect this like glamorous festival in the desert vibes. That is not what you're fucking getting. GA is bottom of the barrel. Like it's the minimum price you can pay to go to this festival. Year after year, Coachella, in my opinion, has gotten a little bit too greedy in that they want you to pay for those other tiers. They want you to finesse your way into guest and artist. They can get better things. They can get better amenities. I'll give you an example, okay? Like there's reserved spaces throughout the festival for VIP. I will say, as the years have gone, VIP isn't getting much else. Like y'all ain't getting anything special per se. And that is because Coachella, like they're starting to give less fucks about VIP and GA. Like they're just trying to move the investment and move the attention to those up the ladder, which is, I can't come at this without understanding that Golden Voice, that Coachella, that the artists that go there, that the celebrities that go there, like it's a festival that is geared towards those who want to spend that extra money. You know what I mean? Now, whenever people are showing you all on TikTok or Instagram or whatever that they're paying thousands of dollars to go to the festival or thousands of dollars to stay at an Airbnb, one, either those people waited very last fucking minute to try to get something, or two, um they are getting scammed the fuck out of because no normal person, get this to your head, y'all, no normal person is spending that amount of money to go to a fucking festival. Maybe some of y'all have that money, and if you do, go ahead and spend it, but I don't. Whenever they're out here telling you that they're spending thousands of dollars on the festival, just know that it's not normal. Okay, that is not normal of the festival. The 90% of people who are going are paying the $600 and maybe a camping pass to go to this fucking festival. With that though, just realize that it is very possible for you to spend not $19,000, not $20,000, not $5,000 even, maybe like 1,000 to go to this festival. Like it is very possible for you to do that. I will also say, we're seeing all these people go who are influencers, who are celebrities, who get to go because of the value of, who they are as a personality or that they're rich. So when, influencers are out here having the best time of their lives, just realize that the reason why they're having a good time is because one, they probably have guests, VIP or artist pass, so they have it a little better. Two, that they're staying in these massive compounds and Airbnbs and things of that sort that are just like uh, no normal person can afford that shit. They're getting breakfast, they're getting driven to and from the festival. They have everything that they need there. They're sometimes even getting paid to go to the festival outside of just getting the tickets to the festival. So just know that your expectations don't have to be there, because that is a different tax bracket that not all of us are in. And not only that, but a lot of these influencers also don't go to the festival as early as a lot of us may. They're usually out at other events, at other parties, and then they go to the festival to maybe catch the last like few acts of the night. So when they're all looking all dolled up, real cute at like 8 p.m., having the best time of their lives, it's probably because they just got into the festival at that time. Meanwhile, all of us been toughing it out in the fucking trenches at 100-degree weather. Try not to black out before 3 p.m. So y'all just measure out where they're at and where we're at. All right, us coming folks, yeah, we're built different, and so are they. So don't be comparing your experiences to theirs. Now, every year, this happens, and I see complaints about this all the time, and that is when the lineup comes out. All right, there are always going to be certain artists that you really wanted to see, or certain popular artists that clash in times. Coachella does that purposefully. Like, it's not, oh, they fucked you up, and like, why would they think about doing that? No, like, they thought that out. Like, they made that choice. Coachella is massive, massive, and they want to make sure that they have crowd control. So obviously, if there's two very popular artists, they're probably going to make them go around the same time so that they can split the amount of people. I don't think Coachella wants to have every single Coachella goer at the fucking Zahara tent at some point, right? That's kind of dangerous and also not fun. So it's going to happen. It's inevitable. That's why when I say that some people are real fucking ambitious about going to this festival and being like, "Oh, I want to see this person, this person, this person, this person, this," yo, slow your roll. All right. Pick maybe your top like 4 or 5 people that you really want to see and commit to that, and be okay with only being able to see those 4 or 5 people, or even less than that, because like many people have told me before, Coachella it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. There's a lot going on, and although it would make the most financial sense for you to get the most out of it by seeing everyone that you can, it's not feasible. One thing that I didn't talk about too is that there's been a lot of complaints I see this year about people and like the shuttles or getting into the festival. I used to always recommend people to go in earlier, because the longer you wait, like 4, 5, 6 later on in the evening, like the more people that come in, because it's hot as fuck. Nobody wants to be there at 2 p.m. But I will say this: if you go there early, you get in with ease, walk around for a little bit, sit in the shade for a little while. It ain't bad at all. All right, get yourself a little meal. Not bad at all. But most people end up going in later in the day, 4, 5, 6 even, and it gets crowded. It gets packed. Trying to get through security is a bitch. Trying to get into those shuttles to go to the festival is a bitch. So knowing that that's going to happen, do as you wish. But I'd suggest maybe getting there a little earlier, even if it's hot out. Find yourself a little speakeasy, or go in some of the brand tents that they have around, or they're usually air conditioned. Just chill out for a little. You don't have to be walking around. You don't have to be, headbanging, drinking a bunch of shots. Chill. But it'll also save you the headache of having to go through all the mess that happens when it gets later in the day. The last thing I want to say is, I've also heard this thing going around this year about Airbnbs. The fact that Airbnbs are god awful expensive around this time of the year has always been a thing. Um, I know this because, again, my parents live in the desert, but like, I also know that there's been huge investments in construction around the area, in people buying homes in Palm Springs, just for the sake of renting these places out during festival season. Palm Springs just seems to be the fucking destination for every white girl who's having a wedding. Like the fact that these Airbnbs are expensive has always been a thing. I will say they're getting a little outrageous, and that is because people are just getting greedy as shit. Like they're playing on people being desperate, and they're racking up the prices of those houses to the thousands, to the even 10,000s and more. Like that's a little crazy. So remember what I said at the beginning: if you wait till the very last minute, you're going to be stuck having to deal with those prices. But if you try to book early on, relatively those prices won't be as crazy as they are. Now, this whole thing about Airbnb hosts canceling, days before the festival, that's a situation that Airbnb got to figure out. Okay. Because that is a little messy. That is also not fucking right, in my opinion. Like, that is shady as shit. So y'all need to work something into your terms and conditions. Your safest bet is, to be quite honest, to go to a major chain hotel or a resort. It's less likely that they'll cancel your ticket, that they'll cancel your stay. But book in advance. Okay, that's all I have to say. Book in advance. Ticket wise too, try to get it in advance. Even if you're not going, you'll end up realizing that you can probably sell your ticket at face value, or if not, for a little more if you're really trying to be those fucking scalpers. I close out most of the podcast episodes that I've done before about Coachella just telling you all the honest truth. I go to the festival, and I've gone for the last 11 years, in part because it's habitual, in part because I just like, it's just a thing, like I like, when you go so many times, it feels weird to not go. That's how it's going to feel this year. I was like, fuck, if I don't go, I'm going to feel really, really out of it. I go also because my parents are from the area. So not only is it a visit to the festival, but it's a visit to my parents and my family. And I'm from there. So like, it's literally, it's like I'm going home. So it's a lot, like it's a different experience that I have to be like, oh, I like going to the festival. There's other reasons besides the festival to why I go, but I genuinely do love going to Coachella. And maybe it's because I grew up with it, maybe because I have so many fond memories of going to the festival in years past. But I also think it's because of, one, who you bring to the festival really makes it. Like if you're with a good crowd and y'all just vibing out with each other, you're going to have a good time, regardless of all the shit that happens. Just like, you're going to have a good time. When your expectations are also brought from up here to down here, then you're going to start to realize that a lot of things become a lot more acceptable. I'll use air quotes for that because, it's a lot of shit that I will say Coachella has to still get right because it hasn't. But you're not as caught up by what you thought Coachella was going to be because of everybody posting about it. Go live it out for yourself. Go figure out what works for you. And if at the end of the day you truly are like, I don't fuck with this festival, like it's shit, then don't go. Nobody's forcing you to go. Coachella, for those who enjoy going to the festival for what it is, enjoy looking at the art installations, enjoy going to watch artists and discovering new artists. Like it is genuinely a really fun time. Like it is very fun. You just have to note what you're getting yourself into. And again, realize that going to Coachella is not a fucking sprint. It's a marathon. You really have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your crew. You have to understand the mechanics of it all. And then just let yourself loose. You know what I mean? Like, let yourself loose and have a good time. It is a major, major, one of the biggest festivals in the world. So obviously, it's gonna have its pros and cons. A lot of cons as of recently, I would say. But you make the most out of it. After going for so long, I feel like I see and I hear everything that happens every year. It's usually the same shit, right? About what people complain about or what they hate about Coachella, or what it gives, that I've learned to kind of just tune that shit out, go to the festival, and go because I generally want to have fun. So I hope that all of y'all get to that point and actually see the beauty in going to the festival, because it is genuinely a blast. So I'll leave y'all with this. If you have any questions about Coachella, again, like after 11 years, yes, I'm a fucking veteran. Like I know a thing or two about going to this festival. If you have any questions about it, like drop them in the comments, DM me, do whatever. Like I'll respond to them genuinely. because I want you all to have a real input as to what to expect at the festival. And again, let me just tell you to end this podcast episode that the crowd, the vibes, they'll be there if you just go in with the right attitude and the right expectations. All right, squad, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, just know that Curated, there's a newsletter that I created where every week on Monday, I send you all that there is to know in creative culture, whether it be fashion, music, anything in between. Like I grab everything that I see and that I think it's important for somebody to pay attention to. I put it in this little neat newsletter that probably takes you like 4 to 5 minutes if to read the whole thing. And then what ends up happening is you end up feeling real energized, in my opinion, real in tuned to what is happening. So subscribe if you want. Subscribe if you can. If you don't end up fucking with it, you can always unsubscribe. It's all good. No hard feelings. For now, though, I will see everybody who's still down for it next week. We're going to have a good time. I promise you all. Coachella's going to be a good time. Okay? I'll see you there if you're going. If not, I'll catch you all on the next one.